Hi, my name's Emma and I'd like to be considered as a volunteer.
Build houses in India? Who says you can't?
Hi, I'm Vicky Rose. I work in the Lincoln Crawl Centre.
Hi, I'm Jen Nicholson. I'm a senior scheduler in EE Planning.
Hi, my name's John Dean. I work in the Group Central Operations Hub as a work allocator.
And this is the place that I live. I'm the luckiest man alive.
10 volunteers. Led by Shirley and conceived by Nicola. The mission? To build this family a permanent home, something they've not had for 5 generations. 12 weeks to raise £25,000. We actually raised £31,000. And we're off, flying from 4 different locations around the UK and converging on Mumbai. As we make our approach to Mumbai, the first thing that you notice is a smog that sits over the city and surrounding lands. Everything looks very chaotic from the air. The roads are throbbing with traffic, and there's no discernible order to anything. There's a yellow tinge that hangs over the city, almost like it's trapped by an invisible bubble. Then you suddenly realise that what you thought were houses from higher up are actually vast slums that house over 25% of all Mumbai residents. Outside the plush airport terminal, you're greeted by a city of half-finished roads, buildings and repairs. Unfortunately, it's common to see young girls begging at road junctions. After a good night's sleep, we rose early and got ready for a 4-hour drive to Kajat. The previous night, additional members joined the team, and we all got to work integrating and sharing stories. The traffic in the city is crazy, with cars and motorbikes diving into the smallest of spaces. Whole families on mopeds drive the wrong way down streets, and pedestrian street crossing the road is an opportunity to play chicken with everything. The roads in and out of the city are very poor, and our HM bus, as well as anyone sitting in the back half of her, certainly felt every single bump. We opted, instead of going straight to our hotel, to stop off at the village and get a lie of the land, hoping it would save us time tomorrow.
Arya, the mix should be ready. Arya.
We were treated to a demonstration of how the bricks are handmade and dried in the sun.
Wow.
And is traditional, The first few bricks are blessed to bring good fortune to those that will go on to use them.
I will tell you the meaning of everything later. This is actually a very symbolic time. They take the auspicious timings. Oh, lovely. He's a lefty. Yeah. Because I got to tell you, culturally, right hand is the right hand in India. Huh? Okay. It's a lady's job. Yeah. Wonderful. You know, they waited for, this family waited for 5 generations to build their own home. It's 5 generations means, remember, it's about 200 years.
Rising early from our tented accommodation, we headed off to the village, around 45 minutes drive away. It seemed like half the village had come out to greet us for our arrival to the village. We were greeted by kids on drums, and each presented with a flower garland by a member of the family whose home we would be building. We try, but look pretty awkward with our traditional greetings of Namaste. Where the previous day the villagers were standoffish, today we can already see a difference. And Dev, being a Hindi speaker, helps us break the ice with a few of the less hesitant ladies. We are then processioned down to a tented area, which is made from beautiful fabrics that will act as our base for the duration of the build.
Good to meet Alan.
We each receive the tradition to honour guests of Aarti. This involves the smoke from a candle wafted over your face, and a spot, called a tilak, made from turmeric and vermilion powder, is placed between your eyebrows. With stiff limbs, we made our way to the site, looking forward to what the day had to offer. We marvelled at the beauty of the countryside, and we're gradually beginning to acclimatise to the 35-degree heat. The previous day, we'd been split into 2 teams, with one working on the brick house and the other laying a foundation for the next house to be built. Nick picks up the commentary.
Here's a team turned up for day 2 on the build. A little walk down to our tent where we kind of dump all our stuff and have our food. Here's some of the amazing kids. Hey! Hi! 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 Look, look. You see yourselves? Say hi! Everybody wave! There you go. Oh! Aren't they bloody adorable? So you can see the guys here actually making the bricks down here. It's like a dung mud mixture, and then guys put it into moulds, 2 bricks at a time, scrape it off, and then they put it out in the sun, as you can see over there. So this is the foundation we helped build yesterday. It's looking pretty finished. We've got about an hour's work just to top it off. You can see the guys are starting to fill up the inside. We need to get it above ground level, because then they'll damp it down with water and that'll compact the soil and make it nice and hard. And then when we finish that, we're going over to another site and we're starting to actually dig the trench the foundation sits in.
A quick mid-morning refuel back in the shade of the tents gives everyone a chance to regroup and plan for the next block of work. While Hilary from Habitat for Humanity in the blue shirt consults with Santosh and the Masons about what's needed next.
So this is mid-morning, day 2. Look at the progress that Team 2 have made. Absolutely outstanding to go from just a flat base to what, kind of somewhere between a third and a half of a house, I'd say. You look at the door frame where they're up to. This is how the guys actually make the mortar that's used to bind the bricks together. It's agricultural, shall we say, but very effective. And you can see the guys have actually built some scaffolds to get them up to the next level once the bricks go up. And you can see the guys over here actually on the scaffold have built.
After the day's work was complete, we left the village to visit a school having a sports day. We were in for a shock. On arrival at the school, it was clear that this was a little more than a school sports day. We were greeted by dignitaries and again welcomed with arti.
Thank you.
त्या मॅडम आहेत ना त्यांना लावा ज्याला शेवटी हे आहेत ना चष्मा घातलाय बघ येड्यावरती गॉगल त्यांना लावा Welcome.
Clearly they were expecting us, as they had a troupe of girls with cymbal shakers and a man with a massive speaker banging out a repetitive beat. We processioned down slowly, down through the grounds and rounded a corner to be met by a huge crowd of participants. We were filtered onto a stage, and one by one greeted by a local dignitary and given a flower as a gift.
Welcome, and right sir.
It turned out this event was the regional trials for the national games, and over 1,200 students were taking part in sports like kabaddi and volleyball.
I request Lam Brown sir. Lam Brown sir. He is the team leader. So I request Mr. Kalpande sir to welcome team leader Clan Bronsa. Welcome, Bronsa. Welcome, sir. Welcome, Bronsa. Team leader. Next, I request Jennifer Nicholson, ma'am. I will request Kaufman ma'am to welcome Jennifer Nicholson, ma'am. Welcome, Jennifer, ma'am. Welcome. Next, John Dean, sir. Welcome, sir. John Dean, sir. Next, I request to welcome Victoria Roseman. Welcome, Victoria Roseman. Welcome, ma'am.
We spent some time watching some of the sports. First up, a tense game of kabaddi, which is as tactical as it is physical. We were then invited to take part in a game of volleyball against a girls' team. It's fair to say that they showed us how it's supposed to be done. Note, this game has been heavily edited to reduce embarrassment. Although we did manage to salvage a tiny amount of dignity with a short-lived late flourish. Handshakes and pats on the back, and we leave before we get challenged to anything else. We call in at Kajat on the way back to have a quick look around and locate some refreshments. Our beds will feel good tonight. Rested, fed and watered, the team dragged their weary bodies out of bed, ready for the third day of the build.
Did you catch all my squeezes?
Oh yeah.
Good morning, world. Day 3.
Yeah, commentary's good.
Yeah, is that all right?
Perfect.
Yeah, we've done an awful lot in 2 days. I think we're at least half a day ahead of schedule, and it's a pretty good team, especially the BT crowd.
We've heard much about how the women of the villages are responsible for so much, but one of their main duties is walking to the nearest well and fetching water. The girls help fill and carry the traditional water pots, whilst we also take some of the blue pool barrels, which have been introduced to the village by Habitat for Humanity to encourage the men to break with tradition and get involved. Our village is lucky because its well is only 1 kilometre away. We ask if we can help, and so we take a trip there to experience what these women have to do every day.
Incredible.
This well is currently pretty low and will be completely exhausted in the next 6 weeks, leaving the villagers with a predicament as to how they get their water. The girls throw themselves into the whole experience and help the village ladies carry the water back on their heads. Shirley, who's not competitive at all, is first back.
And in first place.
I don't know how they put 4 in their head. It's crazy.
It's mad,
Just
isn't it?
holding on to one, I'm like that. Here come the girls.
But everyone does a great job.
Could you imagine carrying 4 of that?
I know.
You were hoping.
Even watching the team shift this amount of water in the persistent heat is tiring. And to think these few ladies routinely carry up to 4 of these water pots on their heads makes it all the more astounding.
Yes, good. That's it. Yeah. Why now?
Fast, John, fast, because ladies are tired. Ladies are tired, you are hiding ladies.
A quick photo, and I guess we better crack on with some building. But not before saying hi to the cute kids.
Uh-huh.
On the main house, your primary purpose is to get the bricks and mortar where the mason need it, before they need it. So you spend much of the time in a chain gang moving things into position ready for the call to go up. Meanwhile, over at the second foundation site, the trench is dug and ready for the first stone to be laid, along with the usual blessing.
One more bit.
Cameraman reads. No.
Okay.
Right.
High five.
That evening, we visited a nearby village that had some families who the charity had already built homes for. The homeowners were kind enough to let us see their homes.
We can go inside the kitchen.
Namaste.
Here you can see a typical cooking setup that every home has. A homemade wood-fired stove. The local people eat a meal of rice and dal 3 times a day, 7 days a week.
Plank or stone like this, and it's more organized than my house. This is using it, and it will be sent to the floor mill.
Each home is issued with a key signed by those involved in building the house by a way of a reminder. Also, you'll notice that the homes have very little else. No decoration, no furniture, usually just a pot rack to keep their kitchenware on. Each house was at a different stage of development. Some were very basic, whereas others may have had plastered walls or even plumbed-in electricity.
He has one daughter, right? And she's the only hope. And if you had come over here, his house was like that.
In each case, we were introduced to the families who welcomed us into their homes graciously. We then headed off to the village centre where everyone had gathered. The homeowners, although very shy, proudly answered our questions about what it was like to have a Habitat for Humanity home.
Okay, so what he explained that before Habitat intervention, they were just, staying in a very, very bad shaped house.
And finally, we were treated to a series of tribal dances performed by the villagers. The bus ride to the village was the usual amazement at the immaculately turned out kids walking to school and dodging cows that just know that they own the place. Progress on the trench for the second foundation was excellent and would be even better today.
C'est Mati.
Mati.
This lady is the grandmother of the family who will live in the house. She says that she's been 60 for the last 20 years. Now that the base stone is in place, the team carried the larger rocks by hand from a supply pile and got cracking with getting cement to the masons in order to get the foundation wall built.
That's heavy. Okay. Up there. Hey, there's the boys. Yes. let's go and have a look at what Matty Man's doing. This guy we've nicknamed Matty Man.
Matty Man.
He does a hell of a job mixing this all up with his feet. Hey. And he keeps filling up the bowls for us to ferry back and forward. The Matty Man.
And so, with our work complete for another day, we head off to the usual chorus from the kids and on our way to visit the region's largest market. This only happens every so often, so we're lucky to be here when it does. And it's an opportunity we don't want to pass up. The market is a real assault on the senses. It's packed with people, and we definitely stand out like sore thumbs. It sells everything, from food and provisions to trinkets, jewellery, clothes, gifts, and even random fairground rides. We made the mistake of starting on the 400-odd metre long row of merchants selling dried fish, which had an odour that will live long in the memory. The market was vast, and you could easily have spent several hours just wandering up and down the rows upon rows of merchants. Unfortunately, we didn't have a lot of time, so we only got to see a relatively small part of it. And so we head for home. Looks like the cows are going there too. The final day's building work consisted of a big push on the brick house to get the last few walls completed. Then, inevitably, with emotions running high, a bit of mucking around.
Yeah!
We then had some free time to spend with the kids. So far, we grabbed a few moments here and there, but this was great because it was proper, dedicated time to enjoy with them. We handed out prizes and gifts and made donations to the village school. We learnt a lot too. We learnt that children's birthdays aren't celebrated because the cost of a balloon was broadly the same as a day's supply of food for the family. It was great to be able to give them tiny gifts that our kids would take for granted. But to these little ones, these were things of wonder. Even handing out stickers was a major event. After decorating the 3 sites with balloons and bunting, we headed down to the brick house in order to do a formal blessing and handover. Blessings of incense and coconut cracking by the homeowner and our team leader took place.
It has to break in one shot.
Yeah, one shot.
Yes, that is a tradition.
Who can be a hard one? Hey, wonderful.
The family then cut a ribbon to declare the home open. They then conveyed their thanks for our help.
तुम्ही आल्याबद्दल आम्हाला खूप खूप आभार वाटले आणि एवढे वर्ष आम्ही झोपडीतच होतोय.
Very good. Okay, she's very much grateful to all people that you came all the way from, UK to here. This, entire generation was in poverty, and in 4 days' time, you have made very big difference into the lives of, both of them as well as, her family members as well. She's very much happy. And yes, last I missed one thing, and your memories will never will fade away from their hearts. It will be forever. So thank you very much. That's what she said.
Oh, thank you.
Photo time. You're taking egg. Yeah.
Alright, that's good.
Thank you. बोलायचं असतं आनंद दिलेत.
In English.
नसर थोडं मागे वा. आभारी म्हणायचं. Next, the sari goes to the lady, old lady. अरे काय झालंय तुमचं? It's a very auspicious thing, and it is.
And then the
yes.
Japan is there?
Yeah.
Ah, wonderful. Alright. It is a respect from the king. Alright, cool. He may be graying at any time. Looks so. Alright. Yes, man.
Okay.
Sad car. You tell him it is a sad piece.
Shirt piece. Okay, the another shirt piece to the.
Yes, sir.
And the frame will be given.
Yeah.
That's good.
Some of the team then gave speeches about what the experience meant to them.
So we want to thank you for how you first welcomed us. We were 17 strangers, and we were really touched and privileged by the effort that you made, and with all the lovely flowers. You opened up your homes to us and your hearts to us. You worked alongside us, you laughed with us and at us, smiled with us. We were just so in awe of your strength, especially the woman's strength. Carrying the water buckets every day. We were privileged again that you let us try it, although one was more than enough. And we just wanted to say that despite all the hard work that you did as well, you always look absolutely beautiful and immaculate, even when we are filthy. And we're so grateful for the lovely tea that you brought out to us. We wanted to say a special thanks to the builders, allowing us to join in and trying to lay bricks to their standards, even though we knew it slowed them down.
Well done, Jen.
And David.
So to the build. So we've been working hard all week, but we've been trying to learn some words of Hindi as well. But it's been very difficult. But at the end of the week, we realised that only one word was important, and it will remain with us for the rest of our lives. Team 1, 2, 3.
That's lovely.
So it's the end of a long week. We feel very tired. The masons and builders have worked us very, very hard. We normally work in offices, so we're not used to working in the sunshine and outside. So thank you for working with us. But seriously, we've been humbled and privileged to work with the community, the families, and the skilled masons on this important project. And as Jen said, the stars of the show for us this week have been the builders. So hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip!
Hooray!
Hip hip! Hooray! But this week has made us fully understand the importance of a good, strong, safe family home, something that we take for granted sometimes back home. This week's build has made us fully appreciate the importance of it and how difficult it can be. And to all the people of the village, the pride, dignity and happiness that you go about your daily life, you bring up your children and you care for your homes, it's been an inspiration for all of us. And especially the joy of playing and seeing your wonderful, beautiful, happy children. So we have been honoured and so happy to be a part of building these family homes for the 3 families. We hope you cherish them and have many, many years of happiness in them. And we're sorry that we couldn't completely finish them, but please send us a photo when they are finished.
And Dev gave his speech in Hindi.
No translation. Ola asked them everything covered by Jen and David. Additionally, I just wanted them to actually make sure their kids get education, go to school, not just their kids, but the rest of the kids in the school, and progress in that way. Because end of the day, education is the most important thing. This is what is going to make them to understand the importance of all this and be able to progress further. And also, I've told them how happy you are, how kind of, you appreciate all the effort done by them as well. So this is why they said thank you to you all.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. So now my plan. Abhinandan.
He's saying thank you to you all.
Bye.
All right.
Okay?
You know the set, right? You know which one goes here? All right.
At the second site, only the man of the house was available, as his wife had needed to take a family member to hospital.
चेहऱ्यावर थोडा आनंद तरी ठेव. It's very simple, very simple.
Can I I haven't given anything yet.
The family are very young and one of the poorest in the village. It was hard to tell, but he was overwhelmed by the situation and could barely find words to say.
Ask somebody to take a photograph and Nikki, you be on it. All right, you have to go up and then keep the frame.
Are we all going up?
Yeah,
or?
we're all going up, aren't we?
Yeah.
Ah, yes, he's happy. Our team go up. Either side, you look at this side.
He's very nervous.
180.
He's very nervous.
Yes,
Come on. They know the order.
All right, here you go.
Yes,
now
we're talking.
Now you look good, Jen. Oh man. You got to be like tan this side. Yeah, that's good.
Jesus, John, I can't get you in frame. Bloody big giant.
And finally, at the third site, we gave the family the traditional gifts and got together for a group photo.
All right, guys. Here you go. Like 3, 2, 1, and take it. Hey, wait a minute, not done.
For the last time, we headed to the bus, climbed aboard, exhausted from what had been an emotion-filled day, and said our now customary goodbyes. As the bus trundled down the dust road away from the village, a hush gradually descended on the bus. You could see everyone deep in thought. The last week had been a roller coaster, but what a ride. There would be tears both of joy and sadness, and a newfound determination to do it all again.